Dr. Malini, here's a question for you today. The question is, how do you think our students will benefit from the new national education policy?
So, very good evening to all of you. It's an interesting thing that is happening around our country. That is national education policy. Definitely, all of you are aware now. Every parent, every student, and every person is now aware about it. It is a happy, welcome, blessed, well-defined, and futuristic education policy, and which is must for every country because education is the key driver of economic and social progress. So, taking into account their respective traditions and culture, different countries have adopted varied education systems. Every country you will find that they have a policy according to their requirement. So, finally, we are having for our country also, we are blessed that we are working for it and we will be seeing the future generation that are being created by this NEP. So that will be created by this NEP, and we are fortunate also to be a part of making it happen, to see it happen, and to see what can be the fruits of it. And this policy also welcomes a complete stress on a holistic, learner-centered, versatile system that seeks to remodel the Asian nations into a spirited information society. That is what we actually in need of. It amazingly balances the pride and the rootedness in an Asian nation, yet acceptance of the most effective ideas and the practices within the world of learning from across the world. So we all are aware that what is going to happen. And now we will focus on the question as asked by Miss Lucy, that what are the advantages of this system? Now, advantages when we go to hear about NEP, it is numerous, but we can put them, we can put into the different topics, headings, and we can understand that how it is going to bring the change that we see, that the change that we want to see, and the change that is drafted to see. So here are a few things I think this will be helpful. Now, this newly drafted national education policy is, we all know, it is a revolutionary document and is expected to bring a sea change, coming generations of the students and ultimately our nation. Therefore, it becomes important to know that what are the advantages of this system. And when we are talking about that, we know that the government is aiming to make schooling available to everyone with the help of this educational system or this policy. Everybody. So approximately 2 crore school students will be able to come back to the educational institution through this new approach. And when I'm talking about this number 2 crore, it is a huge number. And if we bring back this 2 crore of schools, students back to their buildings, school buildings, and the educational system, we think that India will pave its path to its progress ultimately. And the third major change proposed in the NEP is to the most important one, is to replace the tutorial 10 plus 2 academic structure with the 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 structure. I'll repeat, it is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 structure. I will explain that. Now, it's become most likely that the education system of the Western developed countries, now we are in par with them. In the 10 plus 2 education system, the learning began at the age of 6. But in this new education system, learning will begin at the age of 3. Preschool would be from the age of 3 to 6, then 1 and a couple of subsequent 2 years. Then would be the preparatory stage for the subsequent 2 years, during which the focus would be upon playing activities based classroom structure. And one of the new education policy that highlights is that class 6 to 8 would be the center stage during which the experimental learning would be the main target. Science, maths, social science, art, humanities, every subject will be taken in that regard. Next would be the second stage of sophistication, and that will be 9 to 12, during which multidisciplinary studies would be focused and students would be given more flexibility and more choices. Vocational education will be given tons of importance like it is given in developed countries. The roles like welding, electrician, plumber, carpentry are viewed at an equivalent level because of the test of skilled jobs, which is in India we are lacking. So in India, these jobs are checked out with disdain, which may be a mindset that must change. The government has implemented some structural change to vary this mindset, which is praiseworthy. And we are expecting we should make it all happen, that this mind frame should change. Now, next comes the children up to the age of 8, a national curricular and pedagogical framework for early childhood care and education will be designed and developed by NCRT. And it's very nice to see that already the work is on the verge of its completion. Next point, we can talk about the Education Ministry's role. The Education Ministry is to set up a national mission on the foundational literacy and numeracy. I think this is now what is there. Every school is talking about it. Recruitments are happening. The teachers are being trained and the students are given this information. That is foundational literacy and numeracy. In our previous episodes, we had explained that what is this and how badly we require that in India. The responsibility for successful implementation for achieving the foundational of numeracy and literacy for all students till class 3 falls upon the states of India. Yes, the states will have their power, and this will give a call for the concurrent list powers, where the central government and the state government will have the powers in that. And this implementation is scheduled to be done by 2025. So not far, it's nearby. Next, we can talk about the formation of the national book promotion policy in India. You will find that every school is having the publications of their own choice, isn't it? So once we will have this, we will understand that we are going to have it a uniform publication for all the schools in India under NEP. Next, we can talk about the appropriate authorities that will conduct the school examinations for grade 3, 5, and 8. The board exams for grade 10 and 12 will continue. Definitely they will be there. But the NEP 2020 aims to completely redesign, revamp the structure with holistic development, and so there is certainty that it can be made optional. With the following instructions, we can always understand the government is coming up that how it is going to get the assessments done with that holistic development for all. So it is one thing that we all are working for it. And the questionnaires are sent to all the teachers, all the stakeholders, rather, I should say, of the school system, educational system, where we are trying to get the experience and the knowledge of many people so that we can draft it into one system. Next, we can talk about PARAK. The National Education Policy is to set up by the government a special daytime boarding school, Bal Bhavans. This is a quite common word today. Bal Bhavans to be established in every state, not only state, districts in India. So it is very, very difficult to implement, but yes, it is going in a very good pace. And we are expecting that by 2025, this can also be done and completed. And this boarding school will be used for participation in activities related to play, career, act, art, anything, craft work, all the skills are added into it. When we are talking about the next point, that is the academic bank of credit, that is the most important one. This is an absolutely beautiful system that was thought of in par with the Western educational system, where the students can score the way we keep our money in the banks. In the same way, the students can keep their credit points in the bank, and whenever they want, they can use it. Even if there is a gap, the credit points will be there. They're not vanishing it out. So that is, I think, one of the beautiful aspects that the NEP is bringing for all the students of India. Next, again, all the points are important rather, but yes, this is a point where, many Indians will try to reach, which is now our institution where we look Miss Nirmala, she will definitely support and second my thought when I'm talking about IITs. So multidisciplinary education and research universities at par with the IITs and IIMs will be set up in the country. So here, many students, not only the privileged ones, but the underprivileged and the other students, those who are aspiring to join that, can also get an opportunity to read in certain universities which are in par with IITs and IIMs. And these are scheduled to be set up for an introducing interdisciplinary academic. And I think Uttar Pradesh is the first state who had already started making this kind of institutions in their state. So I think all the states of our country will definitely do that so that they can provide this golden opportunity to our students. Then next we can talk about that the same list of accreditation and the regulation rules will be used for guiding both the public as well as the private academic bodies. Now we see a lot of disparity between the government schools and the private schools, but it will be no more there once the NEP comes in, because everybody will be inside the periphery, inside the boundary walls of the NEP regulations. Next, a very nice one, it's a good one also, phased out college affiliations and autonomy will be granted to the colleges. Now in Bangalore, when we are talking about Christ University, every child after grade 12, what is the first destination? Christ University. But what Christ is dealing with? Deemed to be an university. So all these things are coming up where this speed, the process will be taken in a fast forward mode. Next, by the year 2030, we are expecting that it will be mandatory to have at least 4 years of BA degree to join the teaching profession. Now earlier it was not mandatory. Slowly BEd was introduced. Now BEd was 1 year, then again it became 2 years, and now NEP is making it 4 years. So the teachers, those who will coming to join this profession, will be completely edged with sharp edges, will be equipped with all the required informations and the skills that are required to become a better, good, and a best teacher. And lastly, we can talk about making the students prepared for their future pandemic situations. Online education will be on. Yes, online education, even if the schools open with the physical structure, physical way, with the online classes will be there in some way or the other, so that the digital presence, the digital challenge will not be there, and digital presence will make every child an opportunity. It will give every child an opportunity to go with all the kind of skill sets they are interested with. And before we come to an end to this advantages, I would like to speak here about a few things. One of the primary and the major points of criticism in our system is that after the education of 10 plus 10, the graders, we divide them into the 3 categories of science, commerce, and humanities. And the students are allowed to select only one stream. And if they select any stream, then they can't study the topic of their opposite streams. And this is often very problematic because many students may have an interest in more than one subject. I can give you the example of my son itself. He is a brilliant child and he is doing his second year engineering in computers. But at the same point of time, he has a strong bent for English literature and he's a child author. He has published many books. So now when we are talking about promoting him with the English language, that was not possible. So poor fellow is now happy and settled with a member to the literary committees of his universities, So this will be not there with the upcoming students. They can have physics, maths, and English. They can have music, drums, flute. They can have web application. So it is a blend. What is coming up? It is a blend. There are no such rigorous rules that only science, commerce, and humanities will be there. It is a blend. You can take up anything, any subject of your interest. And in the same way, the institutions are also going to grow up so that they can accept you. And after the implementation of NEP, the assessment, what we are talking, is going to be done not only by the teachers, but the students will also self-evaluate themselves, how they have learned, how much they have learned, and what is the learning gap that is there. So, this advantages when we are talking about the NEP and we look into an educational system, it is making it extremely well planned and extremely streamlined. As I had previously told also, hawk-eyed, where, we are going to hit the target. So I think I have answered your question, Miss Lucy. So this advantages, what we are all expecting, that is coming through NEP, will be a boon to all of us.